I know, you really want to get back to that awesome podcast you were just listening to, but this awesome podcast has given me a quick time slot to pitch you my awesome podcast, Black Flare. We are a tabletop RPG actual play podcast using the Delta Green gaming system. It's like we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, but in place of fantasy, it's more akin to the X-Files or True Detective. If you like audio dramas, suspense, and a bit of horror, I think you should give Black Flare a listen. Thanks for sticking through my pitch. Happy listening.
Welcome back.
Welcome
to the Rewind Rewatch podcast. My name is Joel.
My name is Andrene.
We are siblings who have been rewatching 90s movies. We will discuss the film as we saw it. We'll talk about any interesting ideas, the theme that we think this movie is trying to tell us. And at the end of this and every episode, we give each movie a rating from 1 to 5 rewinds based on how rewatchable we believe the movie is. Today, we are talking about Léon the Professional from 1994.
Léon. That's how I like to say it.
Listen.
I love it.
Can we talk about the fact that this man is very clearly a French man and we're supposed to believe that he's Italian? Like, the whole time, I'm like, oh, he's French, and he works for this Italian man. And then, at some point, they're like, oh, yeah, the hitman, he came in, this Italian guy. I'm like, who are they talking about? And then when I Google the movie, and it's like, an Italian hitman, I'm like, he's not, like, nothing.
Not even close.
His name is French. His accent is French. Anyway. Who requested this film?
Chris.
Shout out to Chris.
So to watch this film, if you would like to do so, it's available currently on Pluto TV with ads. So sit tight. It's an hour and 50 minutes without ads. So
yeah, or you can use your favorite illegal streaming site. All right. So before we jump in, one sentence summary. How would you summarize Léon the Professional in one sentence?
Well, you already told me a little bit, the fact that he's an Italian, hitman.
Oh, God.
So I'll start with that. An Italian hitman comes to the rescue of an orphaned girl, and violence ensues.
Yeah, there's a lot of violence that ensues, as you might imagine. Movies about hitmen.
Yes.
I feel like this is the first one that we've done on this podcast?
Yeah. We haven't done any hitmen. We've just done spies.
Okay.
In Mission Impossible. We've done, like, police officers in MIB and in Silence of the Lambs.
There are police officers in this movie, too.
Yeah, but I think this might be our first hitman.
Well, what would you say is your favorite hitman film?
Ooh. Favorite hitman film. I don't know if he's a hitman. Was it Equalizer? Was he a hitman? Or are you just a killing machine? I mean, his character was dope.
The Equalizer. Is the Equalizer a hitman? I guess, but is he taking... I guess to be a hitman, you have to be like taking jobs from people.
Right. I think he's just killing who he thinks.
I think he
fit.
is. He creates his own tasks.
So we're talking about hitman. Would it be John Wick then? Is he?
John Wick is a revenge mission, though.
Oh man.
Well,
but isn't he initially?
He is, yeah, because he works for that organization.
Yeah.
So yeah, John Wick is a good answer.
Yeah.
I was thinking Road to Perdition.
Oh, that's a great one.
Which is a very different movie than John Wick, but both good answers. Okay, where do you want to start with Léon?
Let's quickly bring up the director, because this director, good God. So his name is Luc Besson. He is French.
Luc Besson.
There you go. He also wrote The Fifth Element, so we did see his work on the pod before.
Oh, wow.
Back in 97. He also did Taken 1 and 2 and the Transporter movies. So
Love Transporter.
So he's into like this action type of film. This is what he does. And he got the notion to make this film while producing another one of his films called La Femme Nikita,
Popular movie.
Yes. So in that film, Jean Reno was also in that film as a cleaner.
And he played an Italian in that one too?
Well, the character was similar. Like, he wore wool jackets, knit hats, sunglasses, and he was a hitman. And so I guess after like doing that movie, as it was going on, Besson was thinking like, this would be kind of dope to have a movie that's based on this cleaner. And then he kind of started that.
He cast the same actor and
did.
Gave him the same wardrobe.
Yes.
It's like, just do this again.
Yes.
It's an unofficial sequel.
So, talking about Jean Reno, we know him from Mission Impossible.
Which we watched pretty recently.
Yes, he played Krager in that one. He also was in Ronin in 98. We also see Gary Oldman, who we know as good old Commissioner Gordon from The Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's what I always think of.
He also was in The Fifth Element as Zorg.
Yes, he was. What a ridiculous character that was.
And I'd like to give a special shout out to Natalie Portman here. This is actually her debut film. We know her from, let's see, she was in Heat, she was in Star Wars Episode 1, Zoolander, V for Vendetta, Black Swan, Thor. I mean, she's a pretty big name.
Mm-hmm.
She was just a mere child in this film. And then we see Danny Aiello. Aiello, gosh. He is from Do the Right Thing. He was Sal, the
Sal's Pizzeria
owner. He also was in Harlem Nights, so late 80s films there. He plays Tony, and he basically is the guy who contracts Léon. He tells him who to kill. He holds all his money for him. And then lastly, I want to talk about quickly is Michael Badalucco. He plays Mathilda's pops. We know him as Jimmy from the show The Practice.
Yes.
That was big in the 90s. He was in that movie as well. So, just when this movie starts, I'm already invested. Like, the first 5 minutes of this film, I'm like, oh, I'm going to like this movie.
Okay.
Because it opens up and we're seeing basically like Léon is getting an assignment to make sure that this mob boss, apparently he's like infringing on some other guy's land or territory or something. This other big mob boss's name is Maurizio. And so basically it's like, yo, if old boy comes into town, he's actually going to come soon. Make sure you find him and let him know, like, not to step foot like
around these parts
again. They're in New York.
He's not welcome around.
He's not welcome in New York. And the very first scene, like, we see like this they call him this fat mob guy. He's rolling.
Fat man.
He's rolling the fat man from
Shawshank
Redemption. He's rolling deep with like mad guys. He has like these, bricks of drugs. They also have a sex worker in the room with him. And one by one, Léon is coming through and he's just like shooting these guys. And it's with ease. It's very obvious that he does this for a living. He's very good at it. They don't even see him coming. And I'm watching the scene and like they're shooting up the place trying to get at him. And I kept helping thinking, I was like, yo, but where's the sex worker? Like, I thought she might have gotten like hit by a stray. And she does get out. But basically he holds the guy.
Spoiler alert, there are much sadder hit by stray deaths later in the film.
Yes.
Much sadder.
Yes. But initially I'm just watching, I'm like, oh, this poor woman, like, she's just doing her job. So anyway, he ends up holding a knife to the guy and basically tells him, like, don't come back around these parts.
Scram, you see?
Get out
of here.
Yeah, and clearly, that's the last time we see Fat Guy.
Nah, yeah, come on. You killed my entire crew.
Yeah, it's over for him. So, Léon, how would you describe him?
Professional.
Okay, what else?
He's a loner. He presumably came to this country. We later find out that there was a whole caper back home, which I'm going to say was in France, despite what the script says. And basically, he killed someone to defend the love of his life. They wanted to come for him. He was not safe. He escaped to the States. And that's where he meets Tony, played by Danny Aiello, who's basically his caretaker, his bank, and his boss. So he kind of lives this detached life where he's basically like taking these jobs, taking the hits, getting paid, but not really holding a lot of the money. Presumably, he can get the money whenever he asks for it, but he very rarely does. Lives in kind of, a crap apartment by himself. Drinks a very inordinate amount of milk. Just tons and tons of glasses of milk the entire film, which I found very strange.
It's the 90s, baby.
And yeah, the only real thing that he seems to have any connection to other than Tony is this houseplant that he takes meticulous care of. Mm-hmm. But other than that, at the beginning of the film, we pretty much always see him in isolation. He very rarely smiles, if ever. I don't think we see him smile until he meets Natalie. So Mathilda.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's kind of a sad man, but very good at his job.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, as a hitman, you're probably making pretty good money. And I was like, why is he living in this hellhole?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't really understand that. So we see Mathilda lives in this hellhole in a different apartment.
The same hellhole, different number on the door.
Different apartment. She lives there with her pops, played by Michael Badalucco. He also, it appears to be her dad's girlfriend, because she mentions, like, that's not my mom later on in the film.
Well, either girlfriend or maybe new wife. She's. I assumed it was a stepmom, because the other girl is also living there. So who knows?
She calls her half sister.
Right.
And then her baby brother, she calls her actual brother. He's 4 years old. And that's really the only person in her family that she cares about. It's evident throughout the film. First time we see her, there's like a mark on the side of her face. And Léon asks her, what happened? And she's like, oh yeah, I fell off my bike. And so we're led to believe the pops probably did it, because we do see the father hit her later on, because she's like holding a cigarette and he tells her to do her homework and he smacks her up. So, she lives in this home where there's not a lot of love, if any love there at all. And I mean, her father really pissed me off. Because apart from hitting your child, smacking her around, which was like, that was the first red flag. It was like, all right, this guy's not a good person. It's like he is supposed to be holding drugs for these people that we later find out are actually DEA agents. Initially, I'm thinking they're just a bunch of
mobsters,
bad hombres.
They are bad hombres. They just happen to work for the feds.
Correct. So his job is to hold these drugs for them, but when they come to basically weigh it, they're realizing that before it was like 100% pure, but now it's only 90% pure. So like, what happened to the drugs? And he's like, no, man, I don't know. I just hold it. I don't know. And it's obvious he's lying, because it's like, bro, like, who else would have taken the drugs? They were in your apartment. And later on, he ends up talking to his love interest, saying like, yeah, I think I might have like done too much this time, or I took it too far. And these DEA agents basically tell him, you have until tomorrow at noon to basically figure out like where these drugs went. And so I'm thinking, they're coming back tomorrow at noon, but like, he doesn't attempt to run. He doesn't attempt to do anything. He's just standing in the apartment watching as they come in and shoot up the rest of his family. I couldn't believe it. He just stood there.
Not to mention, before they arrive, where he's like yelling at his kids and then having sex with his girlfriend in the bathroom in the middle of the morning while the kids are
trying to
getting ready for school, because apparently they don't go anymore. I thought it was also interesting that like Matilda's school calls and says like, oh, you haven't been here for like the past like 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like her parents were like paying tuition for her to go to some sort of private school, which I found very surprising given their living condition. I'm like, how are these people affording tuition to a private school? Yeah, but they haven't afforded a better place to live.
I mean, Léon could
there's nothing about her home situation that would have said, oh, this girl goes to private school.
No, I agree.
So I thought that was a little odd, and it didn't really need to be there. Like, she could have very easily have gone to a public school and they would have called and said, you haven't, well, whatever. I guess they needed somewhere to put her at the end of the movie.
That seemed a little lazy to me as well. And also, if he paid for the whole thing up front, you don't care that your daughter's obviously home every day?
Right.
it's not like she was leaving the house or pretending to go to school. He knew she was there. So I didn't really understand why he wasn't making sure she was actually going to class.
I mean, even beyond that, like, we get every indication that he doesn't really care about this girl. So him paying tuition to put her in a private school also doesn't make sense because she has basically nobody that even cares about her in the house. Her stepsister's over her because she wants to do her little aerobics workouts, and Mathilda wants to watch Transformers.
All day, every day.
The parents are basically smacking her around and yelling at her and cussing at her. So I'm like, who is... Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
One weird thing about this movie is there's a lot of people getting killed, shot up, blown up by grenades in the middle of the day. And nobody at any point in this film is even trying to like hide the fact that it's not like furtive. It's not, maybe Léon is kind of, but then he's also just like, you know, not kicking down people's doors and shooting them up. And at one point blows someone's apartment up with a grenade and like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like, this doesn't seem very realistic at all.
But remember, all those cops were there. They were already called to the apartment. Because remember, the character, Ullman's character, Stan, had basically said he wanted everybody down at this apartment to get this guy. So
at the end, yes.
Yeah. But even before then, when they're shooting up Mathilda's apartment, they're the cops. So the cops do eventually come, and they're kind of like, yeah, like when they come, we'll just tell them we were doing our job.
Right.
So it's like, I think because they were cops, that kind of to me was like, they're not afraid of the cops coming because they are the cops. Like,
that's fair.
You can just stage it.
When Léon is doing all these hits with Mathilda in tow, he is not a cop.
No.
And I feel like for all the kind of sneaky business that he was doing at the beginning of the movie, he was very unsneaky the rest of the film. Like, he was just like, had these crowbars, was clipping people's chain, busting down their door and shooting them up. It's like, all right, man, this is one way to do it, I guess. I thought hitmen worked at night. He's just like shooting people at 12 noon.
Yeah. But not just that, the scene where he goes to the federal building to get Mathilda.
A federal building? Nah,
that
man.
was really...
That was so ridiculous.
That was so unrealistic. Because I'm like, come on. Like, he walks in and there's only 2 guards in the lobby of a federal building. 2.
The building's completely empty except for these 2 guards and the bad guys. No one else is there. No one's walking in before him or after him.
He walks to the metal detector and just punches the guy.
Yeah.
Because that's easy. And the second guy's on the phone. He just yanks him up by his tie. And I'm like, that was it? It was so easy to get into the building.
And they were
he
just
like,
starts blasting away. Getting out of here. No, are they going to call for backup? Like, nothing happened.
Nothing.
And then I'm like, oh, he's going to get stuck in this building.
Yes.
No, he didn't get stuck. He just shoots a bunch of bad guys, grabs Mathilda, and then takes a taxi cab and leaves.
Oh, yeah. He tells the cab to wait outside for like 10 minutes. And the guy's like, I can't. It's a federal building, which, of course, he's still able to do so somehow. Because there's no cops outside to tell him to move.
There's nobody. It's a completely empty building. It's just like the bad guy's lair.
That was pretty bad.
I also thought it was odd that, you know, Mathilda goes to the building to try to kill Gary Oldman, and he catches her in the men's bathroom trying to, like, sneak up on him. Then he pulls a gun on her, which, again, like, you're pulling a gun on a 12-year-old girl in the middle of a bathroom for a federal building. Yeah. Anyone could have just walked in. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But instead, just a white guy with dreads walking in.
Oh, my God.
So dread guy. The reason why I want to point
the Rastafarian?
The reason why I wanted to point him out was, do you remember this in the 90s? There was like a huge wave of white guys wearing dreads. It was like everywhere. So I sent you a Google.
It was in what was that movie we watched? Never Been Kissed.
Never Been Kissed, yes.
The guys with the edibles.
So I sent you a Google document.
Oh God, that's what this is about.
Yeah, you have to pull it up because I started thinking. I was like, I feel like this was like very much a thing in the 90s, and so like I literally Googled like white guy dreads 90s to see what will come up.
Oh no.
So the very first picture is Adam Durditz. He is from Counting Crows.
Oh boy.
This picture's from 1991, and look at his head.
It looks like a wig.
Oh, it's fake.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fake. But it's also like, why are you wearing this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what is that about? And listeners, I'll post this on Instagram and social, so you
maybe
can see
this is supposed to be like a Jamiroquai had the funny hat. Maybe this is like supposed to be like a quirky way to stand out.
I suppose so.
Especially the fact that it's fake is like you obviously know you look ridiculous, so you're doing this as a bit. Like this has to be a bit.
But he wore it for a minute. Like this is like a look for him. If you Google his name and look up Dredge, you'll see mad photos.
This is disturbing.
So then the second one I have is Jonathan Davis from Korn. 93. And if you zoom in, like the top part of his head looks like normal, and then towards the end, it's just like these long dreads.
It's like he's balding with dreads in
yes.
the back.
And again, it's like, why are we doing this? The next one is basically Twiggy Ramirez, who is the bassist and guitarist for Marilyn Manson, or it was, I should say. This is from yeah. I mean,
I don't even know if I'd call these dreads. This is a mess. First of all, his face is painted like the Joker. Actually, he kind of looks more like Harley Quinn.
Oh,
to be fair, the makeup job is more Harley Quinn than Joker.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's pink streaks in his hair. Some of these alleged dreads are also covered in beads. Naps galore. Like,
well, that's part of
this.
It.
Also just looks like never been kissed, more like never been washed.
And then lastly, Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC. Now his dreads they're clean. They're clean. They're definitely clean.
Yeah.
He got the black dreads with some white sprinkled in.
Again, I don't know if I would count these as dreads. I feel like these are more twists or locks.
Yeah. These are more like goddess locks.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely has goddess locks. Yeah.
But yeah. This was all the rave back then. It was like, it was so cool to do the dreads. And so I just started thinking about it, and I just laughing to myself because this guy in the movie,
it's like white guys that are into reggae music.
Yeah.
And like,
which is fine.
They smoke a lot of weed, so then they think that makes them Rastas.
Yes.
But
Correct.
it's like, bro, you just smoke weed. That's all it is. It's like you have nothing to do with anything else.
Yeah.
So the guy in this movie, he's also like using like Jamaican slang.
Oh my God.
Dude, what the fuck are you doing, huh?
Man, keep your bumbleclap mouth shut.
Like he's very cringe.
Yes, very much so.
But this whole group is like, these guys are all feds, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they have their own like little gang. Like they're a underworld gang that all works for the DEA. And the main guy, whose name I'm forgetting, Stan is like the leader of this group.
Mm-hmm. Gary Oldman's character.
Presumably because he's the one with the highest rank.
That's what I assume.
These other guys just seem like dummies, especially Dreadboy. It's just like they go to raid this guy's apartment and he's just like rifling through his record collection like, oh, this is a good one.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you're supposed to be looking for something. Make sure nobody's in the apartment. You're trying to check out to see if his records are nice. Like, come on, dude.
They were like, did you look under the bed? He was like, no.
There's no records under the bed. Who cares?
Yeah, that was a bit much.
All right, so you talked a little bit about Mathilda's dad. Like, how would you describe this home situation?
Well, like I said, like no one really cares about her there. The dad is not really clocking whether or not she's going to school. Like he tells her to do her homework and she's like, I did. But it's also like she hasn't been in school. So I don't understand why he doesn't really keep track of what she's doing, where she's going. She could have been doing all types of stuff.
Yeah.
And he really would have no idea. And like I said, my biggest beef with him was like, apart from beating up his daughter, it's like, these people are coming back tomorrow and you did nothing to protect your family. You didn't send them out of the house. You didn't say like...
He didn't do anything to protect them when they arrived either.
Yeah.
He just ran into another room, was like, I guess everybody else is going to die.
He's hearing the shots. He wasn't crying or anything. I'm like, they're blasting your wife or stepdaughter or whatever away, and like, you aren't saying anything. I just didn't really understand, like, he pissed me off. I'll say that.
He was trash.
He pissed me off. I did not care for him at all. I did not care that he died. And I mean, to be clear, Mathilda didn't care that he died. She really was only upset because her 4-year-old brother had been murdered. The rest of the family, like, she was kind of like, good riddance, basically. One thing that stuck out to me, though, was she's not there when the shooting is happening because she was supposed to go to the grocery store. And on the way out, she promises Léon that she'll bring him back 2 quarts of milk. And on the way back, she sees these, like, mad people with guns in the hallway. There's blood. She sees her father's body basically like in the hallway laid out. And as she's walking by the apartment door, she kind of just turns her head, glances, sees the body, and keeps walking and goes to Léon's door to pretend that like that's where she lives. And like just the street smarts that she had in that moment to like pretend like that's not my home and also not to break out or scream or do anything. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this little girl, like you could tell she's had kind of a rough life because she was able to so quickly like see what was going on and then like make adjustments.
Yeah. Well, she basically lives in the streets, right? Like her home life is trash. She's not going to school. She's kind of just like doing whatever she wants all day. And then when she comes home, she gets beat. So it's like, that kind of also goes to the fact that she doesn't really care about her dad getting shot because her dad didn't really care about her. So, right. This is kind of where the relationship with Léon starts because Léon basically lets her in the apartment. He feels bad because her whole family got killed. And he hesitates at first to let her in because he's kind of like, I don't really want to get involved in this, but it's a little girl and she's desperate and she's probably going to die if I don't let her in. And this is kind of where their relationship starts. And this is now, he gets the opportunity to kind of like have some companionship. Mm-hmm. And she has someone who's actually looking out for her. So they're both getting something out of this relationship. And she very quickly, misunderstands the relationship.
Oh, man.
And repeatedly tells Léon that she's in love with him. And he's just like, nah, come on, chill. She tries to kiss him at one point, which is, pretty high on my list of what didn't age well in this movie. Like, that was incredibly cringe.
There's a lot, yeah.
But yeah, I knew going into this movie, because this is a film I had never seen before. And I understood that, like, this guy was a hitman who kind of, takes this girl under his wing, and the entire movie is kind of based on this relationship. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on, the relationship that they had?
Oh, dear God. So before I even talk about her falling in love with him, I was very nervous because she tells him that she wants to learn to clean. He never says he's a murderer or a hitman. He uses the term clean. And she wants to do it. Basically, she wants to get revenge on these people who killed her brother. And
big payback.
She asked him, how much would a contract be for all the people that killed my brother? And he said $5,000 a head, which I felt is very affordable for a hitman.
Yeah, I thought that was way too cheap.
$5,000 to kill somebody, bro?
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, to get someone murdered, number one, like, you're ending someone's life. So let's start there. But the other part of it is, like, I, as the hitman, am really, like, sticking my neck out there for something that literally has nothing to do with me.
Right.
$5,000 does not seem like enough money at all. I'm thinking this hiring a hitman has to start at 5 figures. And depending on who you're killing, it could easily raise all the way up to, like, 9 figures.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, 5,000 did not seem right for me, even if this is 21 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't sound like it should be starting at like 20, 30, 40.
It would explain why he's living in this crappy apartment.
He's also killing a lot of people. So,
yes, he is.
You make, like, a few hits in a month, you're still living pretty well at 5,000 a head. But, yeah.
So, he takes her out to this park to basically show her, how to shoot. And he's using like a beginner's rifle. He explains to her.
It's a sniper rifle though, and they're on a roof.
Yes, but it's beginner weapon.
A sniper rifle is a beginner's weapon.
Because he said like when you start out, because you're so far away using a sniper rifle, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So as a beginner, you want to be as far away from your target as possible, and the more experience you get, you'll be able to use weapons that make you get closer. So I guess it would be like a handgun. And then the very last thing you learn to use, he said, is a knife for hand-to-hand combat. At that point, you're nice if you're killing somebody with a knife. And he has her up on the roof with this sniper rifle.
At that point, you've also lost all sensitivity.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
to kill someone with a knife is like pretty intense.
Agreed. So he has her up on the roof. She's looking through this gun, and the rule that he tells her is no women, no children. Like that is like. The morals that he has as a hitman is you don't kill those kind of people.
Man, gotta have a code.
You have to. So she's up there and she's looking and she's like, well, who do I shoot? And he's like, anyone. No women, no children, right? He's like, right. How about that guy wearing that jogging suit? He's like, yeah, sure, fine. And he's showing her how to line it up. And I'm watching this and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yo.
Wait a minute. You about to have this girl catch a body at age 12?
Yo. For practice.
Yeah.
To just kill a random man.
Yeah. So I'm just like, wait a minute. So then she locks in, she sees her target, she fires, and we find out it's just a paint gun. It's just paint. It's not a real bullet.
But the crazy thing about it is like, okay, you got me. Okay, I thought she was really going to kill this man, but no, it's a paintball gun. All right, cool. But this guy who she shoots is some big shot because he like comes out of a town car. He's got like security detail as he's running through the park.
Right.
And when she shoots him with the paintball, he's like, yo, what was that? He goes down. All his men surround him. They all pull out guns. And I'm like, man, this seems really risky to be doing this as practice. Like, if people decide to like comb the area, depending on who maybe this guy was like a senator or something. Who knows?
That's true. That's
like,
true.
they could have gotten caught, and for what? Because you shot someone with a paintball gun? Like, yeah.
Well, we know there's no real consequences in this movie.
There are none. Like, they're just doing whatever they want throughout the film. And even the way it ends is even still just like people getting blasted in the middle of the day. Like for a
grenades galore.
For a movie about a hitman, and like now that I think about it, like there are rarely any scenes that happen at night. Like this entire movie is just like daytime, people getting blown away.
Yeah, you're right. That's interesting.
Yeah. Like the content is pretty dark, but the visuals are not dark at all.
All right, so let's get into this relationship with Mathilda and Léon. Because we're watching it and it's very much like he's giving off like paternal vibes, trying to make sure that she's drinking her milk and she's learning how to, clean the guns properly, also clean the apartment, help take care
where to shoot the victim.
Yeah.
All this stuff.
Yeah,
like he's giving her like Hitman 101.
Yes, absolutely. But the whole time I'm watching them together and I'm like, can he please just buy her some age appropriate clothing? Like she's 12 and she's walking around in like halters and tube tops. Her stomach is out the entire movie. It really bothered me. I was like, she's a child.
I didn't think about it.
You didn't notice that?
No, I didn't even cross my mind.
I was like, she's a child. Why is she half naked in all these scenes?
Well, she's 18. That's what she said.
He knows she's not 18.
No, that's her completely unbelievable lie that she tells everyone. She said the same thing when she met Tony, and he was like, all right.
Look here, kid. Yeah, Tony wasn't here for her. I actually enjoyed Tony. But so I didn't like the clothing that she was wearing. It was a lot. Then there's a scene where they're playing this game because she says to him, all we do is work. We don't ever have any fun. Let's play a memory game, although it's not really memory. But she dresses up as all these
playing
different
charades.
Yeah, all these different characters. I mean, she was nailing them. It was very obvious who she was trying to portray.
Obvious to us.
Well, yeah, Léon didn't know anybody but Gene Kelly, but she dresses up as Charlie Chaplin, which was pretty good. Madonna, and she's singing like a virgin, and she's wearing like underwear on top of her clothes.
Touched for the very first time, like a virgin. Okay, who is it?
I don't know.
And it's like, ugh, like you're 12. So like it was just like, it was too much for me. And then she did Marilyn Monroe, and she's singing like, happy birthday, Mr. President. And like, you know, blinking her eyes, and she has all this makeup on. And I was like, this is just gross. Like that scene right there, I was like, I don't like this. And I get it's supposed to be fun, but I was like, why couldn't she have dressed up in other characters that weren't so sexy?
Well, she also dressed up as Charlie Chaplin.
That's what I'm saying. She did, but we could have picked 4 characters that were just regular characters.
Yeah, I actually really liked this scene, so
I wasn't here for it.
I thought it was dope.
I didn't really like it. And then he came out and he was John Wayne, and she couldn't guess it. I liked his John Wayne. That was pretty funny. But then it's like, I didn't like that. And then they end up moving into a motel because they're on the run, and she ends up telling the motel owner that Léon is not her father, but her lover. And I was like, why did she do that?
Yeah, I didn't really understand that either. I feel like she thought it would be funny, and it's like, no, he's going to call the cops on Léon. Like, do you understand that that's like very illegal? And he's gonna like call the cops.
Well, he should have. But all that happens is I think he had like security with him, and he asked them basically to leave. Because he doesn't go to jail.
No, he doesn't.
So I'm like, he didn't call the cops?
No, apparently not. I mean, he's like managing some seedy motel. He probably sees illegal things all the time.
Yeah, but this is a kid.
Yeah.
Like, this is different than, you know, seeing illegal sex work happening. I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way.
He did tell him to leave. He didn't want it to happen here. But
it's still going to happen. You don't care?
Not in my business.
Oh, God.
Not my problem.
I don't like that. There's a part in this movie that I really liked as far as just, I guess, from a director's point of view, how they shot it. It's when Stan is standing inside of Matilda's apartment, and he's talking to White Boy Dreads. And he's standing behind this beaded curtain. Do you remember these things that people used to have in their apartments? And as he's standing there, he's like staring at him, and he says to him, like, you know, tell them we were doing our job. And like, you just see like his 2 eyeballs staring through the beads, and it looks so menacing. Did you see this scene? I don't know why. Like,
I don't even remember.
Yeah,
this.
like I was watching it, and I was like, oh, his eyes, like just that one frame, his eyes were like just like staring into my soul. I was like, oh my God, he was like a madman right there. I really enjoyed that part. It was nice to look at.
So my thing with Gary Oldman in this movie, like, I felt like he came in with all this energy at the beginning and really throughout this movie, where he's like the quirky bad guy that's kind of a little bit over the top. Mm-hmm. I guess kind of similar to the character that he played in The Fifth Element, for that matter. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It felt a little cheesy. Like at some points, it felt like he was like doing like a bad like Christopher Walken impression. Like, I don't know. It just felt like they were trying to make him into this interesting bad guy, but it was just like, this guy kind of sucks. And then he would like randomly pop these weird pills and then just like start tweaking.
Oh God, yeah, that was weird.
So I don't know. I like Gary Oldman, but I didn't like super love this performance.
You know what's funny, real quick, is when you mentioned like him acting like some weird bad guy, it kind of reminded me of Willem Dafoe in
Boondock Saints?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of, because like even the way he was talking about Beethoven versus Mozart was giving me that whole like listening to classical music as, you know, shots are being fired in the background, and I was like, this feels very much like what we've seen before in 100%. That film.
I don't know which movie came out first, but
this one might have.
Yeah, they definitely seem to be like cut from the same cloth. I mean, you mentioned the charade scene. which you didn't like at all. I thought that scene was amazing. Just because I feel like it was a nice like way of seeing them not like blowing people away. And this guy who's like very clearly has no pop culture references. Mm-hmm. Although it seems that he loves to go to the movie and watch Singing in the Rain.
That's his joint.
That was like, he was fascinated by that. But that seemed to be the only real entertainment he had. There was no TV in his apartment.
There was.
There was.
Remember, she was watching Transformers when she came over.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't watch it. And I think also the reason I enjoyed it was like, not just this scene. I think this is part of it, but like throughout this movie, Natalie Portman's performance is just fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Specifically that scene where she approaches his apartment and has to pretend like she's going there instead of her house, and you see like the fear in her face, and you know she's crying because her whole family got killed, and she's trying to hold it together. Like, she's killing this movie. Mm-hmm. But, you know, talking about the relationship that Natalie and Léon have, she basically wants to be like his hitman understudy. And he's like, bro, like, I'm going to try to keep you alive, but like, I'm really not trying to like have you become me. Mm. And basically she's like, well, if you don't let me come with you to these hits and become your apprentice, then I'm going to just kill myself. So that's basically how she becomes, you know, his little sidekick. Is she puts a gun to her head with loaded bullets, and she's like, yeah, either I'm gonna be doing this or I'm gonna pull the trigger. And he's looking at her like, what are you doing? And she was really about to do it.
Yeah.
Because at the last minute he pushes her hand away and she shoots the lamp next to them. So I'm like, oh, like she was going to do it, which seemed really extreme. I mean,
that's what I live for.
Yeah.
And also, where am I going to lay my head? At least before I had a place to sleep.
But he was still giving her a place to sleep. It wasn't like he was kicking her out. It was just like, I don't want you following me on these missions. I don't want you like putting yourself in danger. Well, and she was very insistent. And yeah, it at various points throughout, like that was probably the biggest example, but it did feel like at different points of the movie, like she was kind of like controlling the relationship more than he was as the adult. Mm-hmm. And even though he's older than her and more experienced in killing people, it felt like she was much more worldly than him, which obviously we saw in the charade scene. But just like there would be certain times that it felt like she was almost like teaching him or showing him how to do certain things.
Well, she did, because remember, he's not how to read anything. And so she's like, can you even read? And he's like, I mean, I was going to get around to it, but I'm busy with jobs. Okay. And so she ends up like...
And also, what do I need to learn how to read for? I mean, I guess it would help you to be a hitman. But...
Yeah. Then she starts reading like a book of Socrates to him. And he's trying to figure out how to write and how to read. And so, I mean, he is definitely getting something out of their relationship because she's able to teach this grown man how to read things.
Well, that's an afterthought. I mean, what he's getting out of the relationship is, you know, company.
Yes. And an apprentice. And he also is able to like be a father figure by making sure that, you know, she does things, she's drinking her milk, she's going to the store to buy groceries.
2 glasses every 4 hours.
Oh, God.
It's the only way.
There's so much milk.
What was the milk thing about? Because I feel like there was 2 kind of big symbols throughout this movie.
There were a couple.
Or at least 2 that I'm thinking about. One is the plant that he carries around, and the other is the milk. And I have a pretty good idea for what the plant was there for, but like, what was up with all the milk?
Was the milk like part of like, I think part of having a routine? Because this is all we ever saw him do was drink milk. I don't think I've ever even actually seen him eat anything. But I think it's supposed to be like, that's what he thinks you need as far as nourishment. You get your calcium, you get your bones. And also, this is the 90s.
Get your bones.
Get your bones up. I feel like this is the 90s. We talked about it before. Probably like a couple of weeks ago, where like milk was like we were getting these got milk ads like crazy, and so we were led to believe that you want to be healthy and strong, you gotta get this milk. And so I think the milk was just his way of making sure that he was in the best shape, and then he was able to pass that on to her, because you had the milk, you had the daily workouts that they were doing every day, and you had like, you know, practice with shooting guns or cleaning guns. So it was just a way of sticking with the routine.
Is a part of his health regimen.
Yeah, it really was. All you saw was like milk and like Wonder Bread. That's all he bought. Or he had her buy at least.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Well, they do go to the restaurant that one time and drink champagne, and she gets drunk and tries to kiss him. So that was not a scene that I loved.
Yeah, I agree with that. One thing that you didn't mention was pigs.
Pigs? Oh, the oven mitt.
Yeah, so the first time we see the pig is the oven mitt, when she says something about like pigs are gross, they smell like crap and whatever. And he says pigs are nicer than people, and then he has that oven mitt. Later on, when he goes to see Tony at the Italian restaurant, Tony has a bunch of ceramic pigs that are on display. And Tony says to him, remember what I told you, that pigs are nicer than people. And I was thinking, like, pigs play on words. People call cops pigs. So although the pigs are supposed to be nicer than people, in this story, the pigs are actually the bad guys.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why they kept showing pigs, but it definitely was there.
They're also bad guys anyway, so they would already think that the cops are bad guys because they're killers.
No, what I'm saying is, like, but typically speaking, if you think of the cops, they're supposed to be the good guys. But these guys, the DEA agents, just happen to be...
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that doesn't make sense for Léon and Tony, because they're also the bad guys. So they would never trust cops in their line of work.
They work with them. Because remember...
That's true. They work with them.
Stan says to them, like, all the contracts that we've given you over
Right.
the years, all the guys you've killed for us, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know, but I definitely saw it pop up a couple of times, and I was like, why do pigs keep popping up in this film? But they were there.
So the plant at the beginning, when he's by himself, I feel like the plant is like his mode of being a caretaker, right?
Mhm.
Like, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before on the podcast, but like this whole idea of people getting plants and pets instead of having kids. And so I feel like that's something like we see people talk about a lot with our generation, having kids a lot less, and like, oh, well, I'll get a dog, or, you know, I'll be a plant mom. So I feel like that was like, okay, this plant is meant to like represent something that he's taking care of.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he meets Mathilda, then he's able to like take care of an actual person.
Right.
But then as the movie progresses, we also see like how attached he is to this houseplant. When he moves from place to place, it's like the only thing he takes with him. He doesn't even pack clothes for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm going to carry this plant. This is the only thing that I really have any sort of emotional attachment to. And at the end, when their apartment is getting raided by all these officers, and he basically gives Mathilda a way to escape, again, the one thing that he wraps up and gives to her to escape with is the plant. And so like by the end, when she kind of gets away and he unfortunately dies, she kind of has this plant, and she's actually plants it in the ground as a final scene. Mm-hmm. And that's, I guess, supposed to kind of like represent like his legacy, his life, and, you know, planting this plant and hopefully allowing it the chance to finally bloom. Mm-hmm. Is, I guess, supposed to represent her future as well as, you know,
right.
the person that he invested in the same way that he invested in this plant.
Yeah, because he says to her, well, I believe she may have said it to him first, and then later on, he repeats it back to her where she says, I want to be happy, I want to sleep in a bed, and I want to have roots. And she makes a comment to him about like, well, if you love that plant so much, because he calls it his best friend, she's like, you need to water it, and you need to make sure that like you should really plant it outside so it can actually have roots and grow. So I think by her telling him that, and then him eventually finding roots within her, like you said, him passing the plant on to her and then her planting it was like, okay, now we're able to like let this plant bloom into, you know, a bigger bush or a tree or whatever it's supposed to grow into. I'm not sure if that's how the plant would actually grow, but I have no green thumb, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
So
I talked about the fact that she believes that she's in love with him, which, you know, I think is, yes, it's cringe. I think it's also her being young and naive and immature and really like feeling like this is probably the first person that's really poured into her in any significant way, in ways that her father didn't. And he's not family, and he's a stranger, and he's mysterious, and he's cool. And so now I'm thinking, like, this is what love is. And at various points, she tries to kiss him. She tries to sleep with him at one point.
Ugh.
And she basically tells him, like, you know, this is what you're supposed to do. I have friends that did it, and they were sad afterwards because they didn't love the guy, but I love you, and so we should have sex. And when he tells her no, I'm hoping that he's going to be like, you're 12.
right.
But instead, the reason why he can't sleep with her is because he tells her this whole story about how he loved somebody else, and the love that he had ended up getting her killed and da-da-da-da. And it almost felt like he was saying, like, oh, like, love is dangerous. So, you know, it wouldn't be good for us to do this because it could be bad for us in the future. But I'm like,
Bro.
so the reason that you're not going to have sex with this little girl is because of this woman that you loved when you were 19 and not because she's 12?
So
I'm like, just say because you're 12. Like, that's all you had to say. You didn't need to tell anything else. Like, bro, you're 12. Go to bed.
there's a reason for that.
Oh, God.
So Luc Besson, the
Luc
director,
Besson.
yeah, the director of this film, writer of this film, when he was 32,
He slept with a 12-year-old.
he started dating a 15-year-old.
Oh, jeez.
He actually met her when he was 28 and she was 12.
No.
So he slept with her at 15. He married her at 16.
No. It gets worse.
15 is the legal age of consent in France. So he was okay, I suppose.
Boy.
So that's his backstory, okay? And then
So he thought this was romantic.
I think so.
Oh, God.
I think so. In addition to that, he's been accused by multiple women of sexual misconduct.
Oh, boy.
But in his defense, he has not been found guilty of any wrongdoing in criminal or civil court. So maybe it was all cap. I don't know. But
Nah, he did that.
But basically, like, Jean Reno, the way he played Léon was as like an emotionally repressed man, and he said he did that in a way to make sure the audience knew he had no sexual desire for Mathilda, because the way it was supposed to initially go was that there was supposed to be a scene where he accidentally walks in on Mathilda, who's taking a shower, but Mathilda's family was Natalie Portman's family was like, her parents were like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not going to have my 11-year-old daughter in a shower and having this grown man walking on her. And then it's like, is he conflicted about his feelings? Is he feeling something for her? Like, it was going to be too weird. And so everybody was
Luc Besson is weird.
Yes. They were like, yeah, we're actually not trying to do that. So I actually like good on the parents for protecting their daughter and being like, we're not.
Thank God.
Because can you imagine how it could have gone?
I would not have liked watching that at all.
Yeah, but also I think like, you know, Jean Reno's, the way he played the character as someone who, like you said, who kind of like had no real feelings worked, because a different actor could have played it differently, where it was almost like maybe he yearned for her but didn't actually do anything, you know?
Yeah, I never got the sense that he yearned.
Yes.
No, there was no yearn.
There was no yearn.
No, there was no yearn, but like it was still pretty cringy to me.
Yeah, the whole talk about a girl's first time being very, you know, whatever, was just really just, it was just too much for me. I wasn't a fan of that.
You mentioned earlier when I talked about the whole Mathilda trying to kiss Leon, that there were a number of things that didn't age well. Was there anything else that you wanted to flag while we're here talking about that? Maybe anything that we haven't already discussed?
Well, yeah, I kind of already talked about the fact that she mentioned him being her lover, and like just the way she was like trying to come on to him. It was just like, you're a child. I mentioned
so just everything about
yeah, her
this
clothing,
dynamic.
everything about it
Yeah.
was just gross to me. I was like, get that out of here.
All right. Well, in the end, again, like we said, they come with guns blazing. Mad people show up. He's actually able to kill like the first wave of cops by himself. And then they send in the cavalry, and it's like, all right, there's no way he's going to escape this. But he still escapes. And could have walked out, but
Oh yeah, Stan saw him.
Stan catches him, shoots him in the back, and then as he's dying, he basically unveils the fact that he's like strapped to the teeth with bombs and pulls the ring out of the grenade and blows him and Stan up together.
This is from Mathilda.
So he dies, gets, Mathilda's revenge on her behalf because he already killed all the other guys earlier in the federal building.
And in the Italian restaurant.
Right. So Stan's the last one left. Everyone who killed her family is now dead. He's also dead. Tony has all of Leon's money, which Leon made him promise to give to Mathilda in the event that he died. And so she's kind of like fine financially. Although Tony also, I'll hold the money for you. I don't know why this guy is holding everybody's money.
I mean, to be fair, she's 12.
Yes, but Leon is not 12, and he didn't seem to have any desire for
He didn't
money
care.
anyway.
Yeah.
So then, she's able to re-enroll in her private school, which I'm assuming is also a boarding school because she lives there now, and that's where the movie ends. With her planting the plants into the ground and, planting roots.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
This is kind of talking about the theme, but I'm just going to go into it.
Well, that's where I was going to go next anyway.
So one of the big themes in this movie is the importance of companionship, right? Because when we first meet Leon, like you said, he is basically just all about his work. He has no family, no friends, no love interest. And he is able to enjoy this quasi-familial relationship with Mathilda. But by letting her in, it ends up leading to his demise. Because basically by helping her out, he exposes himself.
Yeah.
And he dies. Do you think that it was worth it for him to have experienced this companionship with this girl and then end up dying sooner than he should have been versus just leaving her alone and living his life as it was before?
Definitely worth it.
Okay.
Because
so,
he wasn't...
So the death is okay.
Yeah, he wasn't living anyway. Like, he's literally just, like, doing these missions. He doesn't feel any sense of fulfillment. The only enjoyment that he gets is going to the movie theater and watching Singing in the Rain. He sleeps in a chair, sitting up. Like, he doesn't even use his own bedroom. Like, he's, like, living this, like, miserable, dull life. And the last conversation that he has with Mathilda, when he's like, yo, you need to escape. And she's like, no, I don't want to leave without you. And he's like, yo, we're not making it out of here, both of us. So you leave and I'll make sure that you're squared away. Go see Tony. And he says to her, you've given me a taste of life.
Yeah.
So it's like me living with you and, showing you how to be a hitman over the course of however long this relationship was. I don't know if it was 3 weeks or if it was 3 months. Was basically like the most fulfilling experience that he had, presumably in decades, since he moved to the U.S. at the age of 19.
From Italy.
So it's like, allegedly from Italy. So For me, it's like, yeah, if he hadn't had this experience, then he would have like continued to be isolated and bored with his life. And also, like, yes, at the end he died, but he died with some sort of purpose versus just like killing all of these people that he has no actual connection to. Like, he felt a sense of purpose, and he also went out on his own terms. Like, he didn't mean to get shot in the back.
That's true.
But like, he got the last laugh. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there was like a sense of like justice at the end, even though he did get shot. But it's like, nah, you're going out with him, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was definitely worth it.
I mean, for Mathilda, I think it was all about, well, not all about, but a lot of it was about revenge. Like, yes, on the one hand, you want to have the companionship, but also it was like, y'all killed my brother, like, prepare to die, basically. And she's able to get the revenge, but at the cost of losing the one that she loves. So it's kind of like, was it worth it? At least for her. You're saying it was worth it for him, but for her, was it worth it?
I would have to say yes for her too, because think about it. When she tries to take it into her own hands, number one, without Léon,
that was terrible.
She wouldn't have even had weapons. So that's first of all. Like, she would have literally been living on the streets, begging, maybe doing a lot worse than begging, just to get by. So like, Léon literally saved her life. Let's start there.
Okay.
Then when she goes to this federal building and tries to sneak up on Stan and kill him herself, she gets caught. She's basically being held hostage by his cronies, and Léon comes and saves her, and they drive away in a cab. But like, yeah, like if it weren't for Léon, like, she would have probably gotten herself killed, or her life would have gone a very dark path.
No, yeah, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, like, she was so insistent on getting the revenge. She still could have stayed with Léon and not gone after those guys, and he would still be alive right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing, is like the revenge kept driving her, and in the end, that's what ended up killing Léon.
Yes, but I also don't think you're ever going to get over your 4-year-old brother getting killed. So, like, yeah, you could say after the fact, oh, man, I wanted the revenge too badly, but it's like, yeah, of course you did. Like, I don't think that would have been anything if she and Léon had lived together for the next 30 years and she was taking care of him as he's an old man. I feel like she still would have been thinking about, like, damn, we never like, I think that would have at this point, at least now, it's like, yo, I know what happened. It sucked. Léon did everything for me. He loved me. I had this amazing experience with this great person, and the people that killed my family are gone. You could regret some aspects of it, but I feel like there's a lot less what if. Like, there's no what if.
That's true. There's closure there.
There's closure there that I don't think there would be if these guys were just allowed to murder her family and continue doing what they were doing.
That's fair.
So you talked about the theme of companionship, and I think the other big theme that I pulled out of this movie was like, I think this movie is asking the question, what is the value of living? Which is ironic, of course, because it's a movie about a guy who's taking people's lives. So I thought like the juxtaposition of that was kind of interesting, where it's like, this guy's he's making a living by taking away people's lives, but at the same time, he's not really living his own life.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're killing all these people, but your life is kind of already dead itself. And he's connected to this little girl after her entire family loses their lives.
Gosh.
She threatens to kill herself just to stay with him. And he ends up killing himself in order to save her.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the way that what I took away from like how that question is ultimately being answered is like, the value of living is connecting with others. And so like all of these people, whether they live or die, are really only satisfied with the connections that they have, particularly with Léon and Mathilda. And you could also probably also argue the relationship that both of them end up having with Tony.
I was about to say that as well. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, even Tony, who's the guy who's doling out these different assignments, he has his own family. Like we see a scene where like there's like a birthday party for one of his kids or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like even this guy who's basically paying people to murder others has at least a baby mother or a wife or a girlfriend and children who love him. So it's like even that guy has a relationship.
Yeah.
So it was shown throughout all of the characters, except for like Stan. But I mean, he's the bad guy. So
I mean, he had his crew. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like that was kind of something that they were trying to let us, like, you know, you kind of need this connection to make life worth living.
yeah.
All right.
I have 2 quick facts
Sure.
to add on. So the first is that Portman had a hard time crying on cue because she was a child, and
It didn't seem like it
well
because she was knocking this movie out the park.
You'll see why. Your favorite director,
Besson.
yeah, he had a crew member apply mint oil to her eyes, and apparently the sensation was so painful that for every subsequent crying scene in the film, she had no issues crying at all because all she had to do was think about the pain of the mint oil in her eye.
Sheesh.
So,
All right.
not
Child
great.
abuse. Love that.
Not great. And then lastly, this is just kind of funny. A real criminal tried to rob a store that was next to the house that the police in the movie were supposed to go into. So when he came out and he sees the number of cops around, he decides to give up. But what he didn't know is that the policemen were actually all extras in the film.
So how did he give up?
Like he saw mad cops, and he kind of was just like, "Oh, like you got me." And so they just like,
And they're like, okay.
I guess they kind of just like held him until the cops came because it was like, I mean, they're in New York, so like there's cops everywhere. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That also seems crazy to me because if I'm shooting a scene in New York City, shouldn't the street be like blocked
roped
off
or something?
Like
Yeah.
he just walked in the building
They
next
said
to
it was
where they were shooting?
It said next to the house where they were shooting. Yeah.
So they didn't get a city permit, obviously. They were just like, yo, let's just shoot this real quick before anybody realizes what we're doing.
Hey, Basson's gonna do what Basson wants to do.
Guerrilla filmmaking. Love that.
All right.
Cool. So Léon the Professional. Both of our first time watching.
Yeah.
I'll let you start with the rewind rating.
I found this enjoyable. So we mentioned a few things that didn't age. Really, the whole stuff with Mathilda falling in love with this guy and trying to sleep with him was gross. And knowing the backstory behind it makes it even more cringe when you find out what Besson was doing in his time off. But
Sheesh.
I will say that Portman absolutely killed this role. She was very believable. And every scene that she was in, I was locked in. It was just a fun watch. And Jean Reno was doing his thing. Very believable as someone who just didn't care about anything. And this was fun. I mean, the shooting scenes were pretty interesting to watch. And from the very beginning, I was kind of like, oh, they hit the ground running. Although it's a 2-hour film, there really wasn't a lot of downtime. And looking back, I can't think of any, apart from like the ick girl scenes, there weren't many scenes that were just like not necessary. Like they didn't add on extra action scenes for no reason. So this was enjoyable. I am going to give this film a 3.8.
Okay. I mean, it's funny because I kind of felt like it was a little slow at times, and not necessarily based on the fact that like things weren't happening. And maybe I'm a little biased because I started watching this movie like super late at night. I didn't finish it, and then I had to like come back and watch the second half because I was just like, I need to go to sleep. So maybe that has something to, maybe that's like biased my watch of it. But I do feel like there was a lot of action, but you know, you mentioned like you mentioned like John Wick or like The Transporter earlier in this episode, which like those are movies that are like action, like blowing you away. Like it was like there's action, but it's like kind of like, wait, what the hell is this? A lot of it was like so unrealistic, which of course like John Wick's not the most realistic movie either. But I don't know, like the action didn't really like do anything for me. Like it was fine, but it was just kind of cheesy. Their relationship was interesting. I think there was a little bit of too much will they, won't they for my use, which like I feel like I wanted a harder won't stamp. Like I kind of just wanted him to be like, you are a child, and I feel like he wasn't being convincing enough with that. And now I know why.
It wasn't in the script.
It was not in the script. Not Luke's. Luke's script did not have any they won't. Yeah, I don't know. I thought the acting was pretty good. I thought the script could have been a little bit better. This is a very like highly rated movie, so I think in my head I was probably like thinking it was gonna be a little bit better than it was.
Okay.
Like I was kind of like, oh, like this movie is a movie that people talk about a lot. I always see it come up in like lists of good films, especially films from foreign filmmakers. And it was like, this movie's cool, but like it didn't necessarily blow me away. So I'm gonna give it like a 3.6.
Okay, not that far from me.
No, yeah. Like it was a decent movie.
I had a good time.
You know, I don't really have anything more to say about it other than that.
All right. Well, we would love to hear what your rewind rating is for Léon, the professional. Hit us
The
up.
French professional.
Hit us up on our socials at RR90spod. Send us an email at rewindrewatch 1990s@gmail.com. I always forget the email. I don't know what it is. And then if you'd like to listen to our bonus episodes where Joel and I discuss late 80s and early 2000 films, hit us up on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month. That's right, just $5 a month.
Just $5 for folks.
And lastly, if you're enjoying the show, leave us a review and or a rating. It helps other people find our show. And, you know, it's just good for other rewatch listeners to find us. Do you have any final words?
Is life always this hard or just when you're a kid?
Yes, it's always this hard. It's always like this. That's the only quote I wrote down. That's really funny that you said that. All right. Well,
hopefully life is not anything like her childhood.
We're wishing you listeners a great life. Let's do that.
There we go.
Kind words.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Later.
Adios.